Hi, folks. This is Mark Smith with Family Tree Life Coaching. I have a video that the idea came to me while I was sitting in the dentist chair for almost 2.5 hours this afternoon. I don't know where the thought came from. It just sort of came out of the blue. I didn't have anything to write with as I had two dentist and an assistant up in my mouth, but I did hold on to the word, and I believe I have a really wonderful video for you that'll be entertaining and thought-provoking and will, as all truth does, set captives free. The name of the video tonight is A Great Emotional Healer Delivers Like a Midwife. A great emotional healer delivers like a midwife. I had shared with a very good friend of mine that it felt to me like I had been sort of gestating over what feels like a 19-pound baby inside me, emotional baby. For the past 3.5 years, I've been percolating. Do women percolate when they have babies? Probably not. They probably do gestate. You get the point. I've been for 3.5 years growing this emotional baby, and I was getting close to sorting it out. My favorite poet, David Whyte, says sometimes that I wrote this poem to get to the bottom of it. So sometimes he'll have a thought, an inspiration, and in order to sort it out and get to the bottom of it, he'll write a poem. And many times that's what I do as I'm processing issues and thoughts and insights, is I'll make a video, which is my form of making art. Before I go on with the story, what I'd like to do is read from Wikipedia, as I'm prone to do, about what a midwife does and what their responsibilities are. Wikipedia says, the midwife is recognized as a responsible and accountable professional who works in partnership with women to give necessary support during pregnancy, during labor, and during the postpartum period. They also provide care for the newborn baby. This care includes preventative measures, the promotion of a normal birth, the detection of complications in the mother and the child, the assessing of medical care or other appropriate assistance, and the carrying out of emergency measures if needed. The midwife has an important task in health counseling and education, not only for the woman, but also within the family and within the community. A midwife may practice in any setting, including the home, the community, in a hospital, in a clinic, or in health units. But on an emotional level, let me suggest to you that a really talented life coach is an emotional midwife. A really talented therapist can be an emotional midwife. For that matter, a really skilled and caring friend can be an emotional midwife. So I was hurting this morning. I was processing and feeling sad and had this heaviness in my belly. And a good friend of mine said, "How are you? Tell me about this 19-pound baby." I'd shared over the weekend that I was processing a 19-pound baby and wanted to get it the heck out of my system, get to the bottom of it, get the baby out my body and move on with my life because it's getting heavy and painful. So let me share what this skilled friend did for me. It was wonderful. Number one, he was really patient with me. A midwife doesn't just grab the forceps and grab that baby up out of there. If they do, they probably hurt the mother and the baby. A midwife waits and let the baby come up when the baby wants to come out. It might take an hour, it might take 20 minutes, it might take 38 hours, who knows? I don't know when they call it quits and call in the medical professional and induce the birth. I don't know what the hours is, but I know this, that anytime there's a baby, you just got to sort of wait. I stood there and did all the helping I could do with the birth of my 3 children, so I know a little bit about the waiting process. Another thing that my friend did is he has this way of saying, "Oh," I'll say something painful. He'll go, "Oh," and it feels really nurturing. It feels like empathy. It feels like kindness. And, if it was done meanly, the same word would sound patronizing. But the way this fella does it, it's really a wonderful connection of empathy. And he has very kind eyes. He just looks at me as if, almost like, I don't know, like Jesus would look at somebody, not with judgment, but with empathy and love and kindness. I see kindness and empathy and love in my friend's eyes. Another thing that he did that is a common mistake for people is he didn't try to fix anything. He didn't make any suggestions. He didn't give me any advice. He didn't offer any alternative diagnoses. He just listened and had kind eyes, and he waited for the baby to come. And when I would talk about my shame, he would affirm my goodness as a human being. And he would affirm our friendship and his care for me. And in this wonderful, safe environment, I wept on 3 or 4 occasions, just for a few minutes. I didn't get a snotty cry for an hour and a half, but I had 3 or 4 times where I had some tears surface, and it cleansed my soul. It was really helpful, and it was really freeing, and it was really amazing. Turns out that this is going to be one of my shortest videos that I've ever made, unless I can think of some stuff to chit-chat about on the spot. But on a scale of feeling bad versus feeling good, let's say feeling bad is 1 and feeling great is 100. Within the space of an hour and a half, I went from feeling like about a 12. I'd been sick all weekend. I've got some incisions that are infected that were fighting the infection. And I had a little bit of an earache. And I had this 19-pound baby up where it shouldn't be, but it was. So I was a mess. And so I was 12 out of 100 when it come to my pain. But I swear to you, in an hour and a half, I probably got up and left that meeting at about an 80. I went from 12, miserable, hopeless, sad, tearful, to 80. Walked out of there with the spring in my step. Got to the dentist half an hour late, and then got tortured for 2 hours and a half. My tongue kept getting in the way of what they were trying to do. Any dentist ever give your tongue a name? I suggested difficult or something like that, and they gave my tongue the name Joey. Joey? They were like, get out of the way, Joey. I've got funny dentists. So I guess what I wanted to share was that not everybody is a skilled midwife on an emotional level. I believe I am. If I err sometimes, it's sometimes that I may probably talk a little bit too much. But when I see somebody go into their little kid and start to share their pain vulnerably, I generally shut up. And if I do anything, I'm asking questions because I'm curious. And if they start crying, I'm like, hey, go ahead on with that. That's wanting to come up. And I give them permission to have them a good old snotty cry if that's what they're wanting to do. And that's what is surfacing and coming up. It's a delightful thing to help people get delivered of 19-pound babies that have been tormenting them for years. Sometimes we help deliver people of babies that have been tormenting them for decades. Sometimes we do a piece of work that delivers freedom that has been suffered for many decades. And it takes patience, like this fellow had. It takes empathy. It takes kindness. It takes listening deeply. It takes, it takes very kind eyes. It takes trying not to be tempted to fix things when you really just need to shut up. It takes affirming the goodness and lifting the shame off of the person you're working with. It takes affirming that person either as a client or a friend or whatever the relationship is. It takes creating a safe environment in which they can cry and where the wounded little kid can surface and get release and relief from their emotional pain. When I was sitting in the dentist chair being tortured, I didn't have in mind any kind of commercial, and this isn't really a commercial per se, but I have to tell you, the friend who performed this baby delivering midwife magic was Dr. Larry Taylor, my friend and my co-host of our YouTube show that we do every week. We haven't gotten one made this week because I've been sort of fussy britches struggling, but we probably will get one done pretty soon. And if you're out there and you're suffering from marital pain, relationship pain, depression, anxiety, the loss of a child, the loss of a loved one, feeling the fear of death, having pain due to physical problems, just partially my problem this morning, dealing with aging, dealing with work problems, dealing with financial problems, whatever hurts, I can recommend a guy who listens well and is wise and who talks when he's supposed to talk and listens when he's supposed to listen. And he genuinely was the catalyst to shift me out of a 12 and right into an 80 in an hour and a half. That's fabulous. Sometimes therapists feel like it's their job to fix things. They're earning a lot of money and they feel like I got to intervene and talk because that's what I got to do. And the nice thing about what Larry did, he let me tell the story. It was a long story, and he just let me tell it. And you know what? He didn't look bored. He didn't look off-put. I could tell that he believed me. Some of the story that I told is a little bit outlandish. Somebody might think, well, Mark's sort of a drama queen. Maybe he's overreacting and, seeing things and saying things that aren't so. But I'm not in this situation. But Larry believed me. And he empathized with me. And he probably did that thing probably 5 or 6 times. I do it now. I don't know if he got it from me or if I got it from him, but when somebody says something really sad, I'm like, oh. I'm more of an oh. He's a ah. But it's the same emotion that's extended. But there's differences between life coaches and therapists. Therapists tend to want to give people a diagnosis and want to treat them from a medical model, whereas a life coach just meets somebody where they're at, and they use empathy and wisdom and the skills of a midwife to help create a safe delivery of powerful emotions that can cripple you, emotions that can keep you from doing your job well. They can help deliver you from emotions that might cause you to think about harming yourself. They can help you deliver yourself from emotions that might have you drink too much or use drugs or some such thing. So anyway, you can reach Dr. Larry Taylor at Dr. Lawrence Taylor. And doctor is just Dr. Lawrence Taylor at gmail.com. Dr. Lawrence Taylor at gmail.com. And he'll set up a meeting with you. He really doesn't work for Family Tree at this time. He's going through a training process. He's independently working as a life coach. I don't get paid anything that he earns. I don't have anything in this at this point other than I see a future for Larry that's huge, where he has lots of clients and where he delivers lots of babies. And he makes a lot of people feel better. And I saw these qualities in Larry for some time. And I don't even know how discussion of life coaching came up. It's just something that he's always wanted to do. And just spontaneously, I was approached by 4, 5, or 6 folks who were interested in doing some life coaching, and for whatever reason, they can use those skills in their work as pastors or chaplains or parents or whatever it is that they're busy doing or aspiring to do. So anyway, I just wanted to tell y'all that I got blessed today. I did get blessed at the dentist because they did a bunch of good work, and I got to go back and get a temporary part pulled out, and then they're going to put a gold piece in, which cost a lot of money, but they says it'll work better. So, but I really got blessed when, after spending a weekend in bed sick and feeling, I had this, I've said this before, but I had this freshman football coach. He says, fellas, after we took a whooping, which we took a lot of whoopings that year, let me tell you, don't get your daubers down. And I don't think any of us knew what a dauber was. I still don't know what a dauber. I don't know if it's like when you're fishing and there's a bobber. That's a bobber. And you want to get your bobber down. That means you got to fish. So I don't know what a dauber is, but we knew what it was. It says he was saying don't get discouraged. And my dauber was down, and I was sick from 2 different things, and I was feeling lonely because of COVID. Thankfully, I didn't have to care for Mr. Pauly because I put him in the pokey over the weekend. I put him in the kennel just because I knew I was too sick to take care of him. So he doesn't mind going to the pokey too bad. He doesn't complain about it when he gets home. He must have some friends there at the pokey. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say. It's a wonderful thing when somebody has the skill set to listen to you, to affirm you, to show you empathy, to show you love, to show you kindness, to tell you the truth, and to create an environment where you can weep and cry, and something that you've been carrying around that wasn't yours, injuries. It's really not a baby. It's more of wounds and injuries that you get in relationships. And if you can find that, it's priceless. And Larry can do that. I can do it. I believe Angie, our other life coach, can do it. I believe the therapist at Family Tree can do it. But it's a wonderful gift. I was stunned, really. I've got 4 therapists. You know your therapist has issues if the brother has 4 therapists of his own. I've got my relationship addiction therapist. I've got my grow up my inner child therapist. I've got my regularized therapist. And then I got a therapist that helps me understand DID. So I got 4 therapists. But the person that turned up and was available in my hour of need wasn't operating as a life coach. He's just being my friend. And man, if you got friends like this, you're really blessed. And I'm really blessed to have a friend like this. And I have other friends like this. My friend Fred has talked me off the ledge many a time and helped create a safe environment many a time. So anyway, get a hold of Dr. Larry and see what he can do to help you. I don't know what his rates are, but I imagine they're reasonable. And it's Dr. Lawrence Taylor at gmail.com. And thank you for watching tonight, and God bless you.